Joining us now, North Carolina Secretary of State Elaine Marshall. Secretary, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Some impressive numbers to talk about. First half of this year, 93 new businesses created. In the month of May alone, 16,000, more than 16,000. I think that was the fourth highest monthly total. What do you think this says about the overall business climate here in North Carolina?
Well, you said 93,000.
Yes.
It is astonishing. It is astonishing. What this means to North Carolina is if it's the families involved, it's the hope for a different life, more independence. A lot of hopes and dreams go into the individual entrepreneurs who start. For North Carolina, it means a lot more possibilities of economic growth everywhere, because we're seeing that a lot of these new corporations and LLCs are being formed in our more rural areas. We're scrappy people here in North Carolina. People want to take care of themselves. They persevere. They want to, work, pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. And so they're taking control of their own destiny. I think the COVID got a lot of people thinking about how they wanted to live going forward. The stresses that they had, especially women with working and child care issues and school issues that were very inconsistent for a while. And they had to have a lot of flexibility. And a lot of them believed that flexibility came for starting their own entity, whether it was a corporation or an LLC. So it represents a lot of hopes and dreams of a lot of people.
How much can we actually glean from these numbers? I mean, you mentioned LLCs, but what kind of businesses are these? I mean, these are not all businesses employing, 50 people. So a lot of these are perhaps one-person businesses.
That would be correct, although we started surveying in June of 2021. This rocketry of an escalation of a new entity started in June of 2020. And when we got to the 1-year anniversary mark, we said, we need to know more about these. We need to know why. We need to know what they're doing. We found that most of them saw an opportunity. It was not because they had lost a job. Now, a lot of them are in the service. We have a survey with over 4,000 replies, so we know our validity is pretty high. A lot of people did what they did before only for themselves as opposed to working for a company. So a lot of them were in the service, personal services. So this could be bookkeeping, it could be accounting, it could be inventory control, just whatever kinds of things that people do that they consider that. Some were in retail. Somewhere in manufacturing. So it was across the board, but we saw that a lot of them were women and minorities, which was particularly heartening for me. And we're just trying to help them be the best that they can.
We know that being a small business owner is extremely tough. A lot of small businesses don't last the first few years. How many of these do you anticipate will still be operating, say, 4 or 5 years from now?
Well, historically, and I'm not talking about just since pandemic, I'm talking about 10, 20 years, 1/4 of the new entities don't make it by the 3rd year. And unfortunately, 1/2 don't make it by the 7th year. So what we're trying to do is improve the odds to keep the attrition rate. If we can just pick it up by 2 or 3 or 4%, we will consider our Rural Rise program and the things that we're doing like that to be very successful. I'm a farm girl, and I know what it's like to feel like to be a second-class citizen because you live far away from the county seat or the seat of state government or seat of education. And so I've taken this project personally. We know about the rural-urban divide. The urban areas, people seem to know where the resources are. In North Carolina, we have a large number of resources that are either nonprofits or governmentally provided or public-private partnerships that people simply don't know about. A part of our survey was to ask these people, what would you like to have known before you started? Where did you get your information? What were the barriers that you saw to getting going? And our survey had folks with some, I guess, with no income, but some with over $500,000 and more in the first year of their business. So it covered the board. But we find that people don't know about the Community College Small Business Center, which provides free information on things like how to set up your books, which was one of the things that folks said they wish they would have known. Other things they wanted to know was what kind of permits and what have you. Again, for free, the community college can lead you to the right place to find that. So in order to remedy this shortage of information, we have started doing bulletins specifically geared to a particular county. We've already done 14 counties in our pilot project. We call it Rural Rise NC. And RISE stands for Resources for Innovators, Startups, and Entrepreneurs. And so we are pushing this out as new entities are being formed in that county. We have gone back to the last 2 years worth and are sending emails and sending out this bulletin to them. And the key thing about the bulletin is it is local resources. We actually give them a telephone number and a name, if we can, of somebody who will answer their questions in these different areas. One of the other things that so many said they wanted was a simple checklist. Well, I wish I could say there was a simple checklist, but we have put together a checklist of things that people need to know when they get their business going, way beyond the simple things of registering with the Department of Revenue, Employment Security, and Workers' Comp. We tell them where they can, they can talk to the Department of Revenue in their local community. People have a fear of calling Raleigh. I'm sorry, I understand that, but we've been pushing these and we've been localizing the information so that people will feel more comfortable dealing with their friends and neighbors in their hometown or close by.
If you are a small business owner or want to be a small business owner, say in Lincoln County, what is your recommendation that somebody like that, what do they need to do to get the ball rolling when they might not be completely in the know about what it takes?
They really should have a business plan, not just in their head, but down on paper when they begin to start. And people don't know what a business plan really is. They don't know how to do it. I would strongly recommend that they contact the community college in Lincoln County or any other county around and get the number of the small business center there and call up and talk to the counselor. And that counselor will tell them about courses in setting up your bookkeeping. They also have the ability to talk to folks about how you evaluate your market, how you're going to price these things. And the key of all keys is financing. How you're going to get it, how you need to prepare yourself prior to asking for somebody for money.
All right, North Carolina Secretary of State Elaine Marshall. Secretary, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
More Flashpoint after this.